Hi, this is the bad boy, Joey Janela, and you're listening to the Going In Raw podcast. Joey Janela always goes in.
This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Going In Raw.
Hey everyone, Kenny Omega here. In case you didn't know, we have an awesome kick-butt show called Steve and Larson's Going In Raw, and they're going to be supporting AEW every week amongst many other things. Goodbye and smooch. Good night. Bye-bye.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Of course, tomorrow's Thanksgiving, so officially this is going to be the last time you see us until live anyways, until Monday, because, you know, we got the weekend off and we're taking Friday off. Yeah. So SmackDown and Rampage, you know, you guys,
we'll catch up on those on Monday, I guess.
I mean, I might hang out on Friday night if I have nothing else going on. I have no idea what's going on, but I've got to channel mine over at MF Steve here. So if you want to hang out on the Twitch, go follow me over there, and maybe I'll pop up from time to time over the weekend because I get bored easily.
Yeah.
But tomorrow over at the YouTube channel and in podcast apps everywhere, we have Bash at the Beach 1996. It's our review of that. We're not actually airing it. We're reviewing it. It's the formation, among many other things that happen on that pay-per-view, of much higher consequence. The formation of the NWO occurred as well, but we had Rey Mysterio versus Psychosis.
Fantastic bout.
John Tenta versus Boss Man in a ball sack on a pole match.
Uh-huh. It's a really tall pole.
We had Kevin Sullivan and the Giant.
Yes, versus Arn Anderson and...
Oh, singles action guy.
Yeah.
You shall not be named.
Yeah. Heel DDP versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Loaded show. And then, you know, all that stuff was massive box office attraction shit. And then, you know, just sort of as an afterthought, the NWO.
Who's the third man brother, all that, yes.
Who's the third man brother, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyways, that's what's going on. You know, man, we're getting older, so we need to take some time off during, you know, when we can. So figure the holidays. But man, Friday night Rampage, they got that Riho versus Britt Baker match. Ooh,
I know.
That's gonna be.
I know. Eddie and Daniel Garcia. That's gonna be a good bout too.
Ooh, that's gonna be good.
Be some good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, Dynamite tonight. Good stuff.
Oh, wow, what a good show.
Top to bottom. Just advanced stories, advanced characters. Opening segment, fantastic. Main event, tons of fun. What I imagine what everybody's talking about. Well, there's two things I'm sure everybody's talking about.
People throwing Cody's belt back is the top.
Sorry,
that's going to be the thumbnail today, right? Don't you think?
Yeah, there's three things. One, you know, Cody, as is customary, throws his belt out to the crowd. In Chicago, they chucked it back into the ring.
Yeah.
Two, Dante Martin, officially member of Team Taz, I guess. He signed the contract.
And then he stood on a table.
And then he took some chips from Hook.
Maybe Team Taz will teach him how to like walk through a room properly, because you're not supposed to just... I mean, when you're that light on your feet, I guess you could just sort of walk on it.
Maybe, you know, it's he's joining Team Taz. They're heels.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he'll walk on the table. Why not? And then, you know, what a lot of people were talking about earlier in the show up until...
The Gun Club versus Bear Country.
Yeah, padding the Gun Club's win-loss records when they lose to Sting and Darby Allin.
Yeah.
It looks all the more impressive for Sting and Darby Allin. No, of course, we're talking about the promo showdown to open the show between Phil Brooks, CM Punk, and MJF. You know, with Phil and Eddie, they kind of made us wait a little bit, but then they gave us that one segment. It seems like the build between Punk and MJF is just going to be, I would imagine, several weeks of them just talking trash to each other.
Yeah, seems like it.
And if this is any indication of the direction they're going, I think we're in for some good stuff.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. I am kind of partial to the stuff between Eddie Kingston and Punk, because here's the difference. Kingston has shit on Punk. MJF has nothing on Punk. And the tonight's promo with him was all the evidence. I do appreciate that they intentionally had him come out and just as Phil said, low hanging fruit. MJF, he delivered the lamest of lines. And then things got they got a lot better. Once he started talking about, you sound more like a guy who should be preaching hustle, loyalty, respect, and you played second fiddle to the guy you can't see and the King of Kings. I thought that was really good stuff because you're getting at stuff that's going to get under Phil's skin.
Exactly.
I thought that was really, really good stuff.
And I
liked that they sort of swerved us a little bit. He started off with the weak stuff, and then when Punk called him out on it, he had to get real with them.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good stuff. It's dream promo scenario here.
Yeah.
It's just when they cut to Eddie Kingston having cake at catering, and I'm like, oh, that really speaks to Steve. I thought that was great. What were you gonna say?
I honestly don't remember right now. It was, and like we'll get to the line by line, beat by beat, not exactly a transcript, but pretty darn close to it of the promo off. But Phil telling MJF, oh, you're like a less famous Miz. That really sticks. That's really sticking it to MJF.
The crowd was number one. This crowd, it was a big Chicago crowd who is now used to seeing Phil back, and they were just having fun.
Yeah,
this episode was just honestly just tons of fun.
It was tons,
regardless of who was in there. It could have been Gun Club versus Bear Country. Gun Country. Welcome to America. It could have been those two acts, and the crowd was still eating it up. The crowd was just having a great time.
Yeah.
And so that was awesome. But yeah, there are all those little lines. You're like a less famous Miz. That was a killer line.
Yeah.
I'd love to get some of the behind the scenes info on like, okay, did they? I mean, you could assume two guys like this, they could just go out there and do what they're going to do, or was it set up? So they're like, MJF says, okay, listen, I'm going to come out with some really weak shit. You call me out on that, and then we'll get really into the meat of it. How much did they actually go over? Did they go through all that kind of stuff? I'll never know, but it'd be great to know. I thought it was awesome. It's honestly, dude, AEW, I'm not going to start getting an us versus them thing or one side versus the other. But when they have cool stuff, they do it. Right? They do it. So it's like you think to yourself, oh man, two of the best promos, the best promo of his generation, CM Punk, the best promo of his generation of the new school, MJF. It's in some corners of the wrestling world, they probably would never think to put them together. But in AEW, it's obvious they do it.
Yeah.
Right? They do it. There's all sorts of examples of this kind of stuff that it just seems obvious. You give the people what they want. And this is exactly what that is. So you feel like you're living a moment. I didn't even put the Dynamite logo on the thumbnail of this episode for YouTube because it doesn't need it. You just got Punk, you got MJF face to face. What more do you need?
Yeah.
This is like they would have, if Stone Cold and Austin, if Austin and CM Punk were able to wrestle at the same time, this is kind of like that,
Yeah.
It's like, I know people are going to be like, oh, no, but for AEW hardcore fans of MJF, that's what this is. MJF is the promo of his generation. CM Punk was the promo of his generation. That's what this is.
Yeah, totally. And then Punk, he had a scheduled bout against QT Marshall right after basically like a 17-minute promo off. And JR actually put it well. He says, this isn't a stellar night for CM Punk because he struggled with QT Marshall. And that's one of the things MJF pointed out is Punk is struggling to beat undercard guys.
He's pointing out the story that they're telling with Punk.
Yes.
They're illustrating. I'm so happy that you brought that up and he brought that up because they're pointing out that story, which is totally true. So no, I loved all that stuff. Yeah, we'll get to the beat by beat bits of the actual promo, but I thought it was really good. And then of course Thunder Rosa, Jamie Hayter had a killer match.
Oh, they beat the heck out of each other.
They really did. Some of this stuff, it was smooth, it was technical, it was physical, it was physical.
Especially the whole beginning part of it was just them laying
beating
into
the
each
crap
other
out of each other
with strikes, and it was awesome.
They are just excellent wrestlers, and I love to see it. And Thunder Rosa moves on, and some discord perhaps within the DMD faction. With Britt Baker super kicking Jamie Hayter inadvertently, getting her loss.
Yeah, and then we furthered the Bryan Danielson heel turn You apparently kicked a couple of teeth out of Colt Cabana's mouth.
It looked like it was like a chunk of tooth because like there was a chunk of it, and then you see Colt and he spits out, I think, the other chunk of that too. Maybe it was several. I don't know. It was gross, and it seemed to tickle Bryan Danielson.
Oh, he was holding up to the camera and pointing it out. Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah, like that.
And I'm so happy. You know, I'm so happy that Bryan Danielson referenced his last heel run in WWE when he was the Planet's champion, because that was awesome.
Fickle.
You got awesome. It. And he was setting up for it. I'm like, oh, please say it.
Right.
Please say it. He didn't say it exactly like he did WWE. Fickle, he just said. And that's fickle. Very matter of fact, but gosh, it popped a portion of the crowd, and damn it popped me.
Oh, big time. Yeah, that was definitely a highlight of his Captain Planet stuff.
Let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Several years ago, while dealing with severe anxiety, I learned the importance of talking to a therapist, but I also learned that it can be really difficult to find the right person to talk to. Today, BetterHelp is providing a safe and private online environment where your needs will be assessed and you'll be matched with your own licensed personal therapist.
BetterHelp isn't a crisis line, nor is it self-help. It's professional counseling done securely online, all without having to ever sit in another uncomfortable waiting room.
BetterHelp is dedicated to facilitating great therapeutic matches. Send your counselor messages at any time or schedule regular phone or video sessions. And they've made it free and easy to change therapists if needed.
And you don't have to limit yourself to counselors in your area. BetterHelp services are available worldwide, so you can find the expertise you need regardless of location.
We want you to start living a happier life today. As a Going In Raw listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/raw. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health.
Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw. And before we get back to the show, let's take a quick break here to get a word in from our sponsor, Credit Karma. Hey, Larson.
Yes.
Do you feel overwhelmed when it comes to handling personal finances?
All the time. All the time. Yes.
Well, you're not the only one. Whether you're looking to refinance credit card debt or pay for an upcoming expense, Credit Karma is there to help you make those big financial decisions with more confidence.
Yeah, Credit Karma uses your credit data to show you personal loan offers that are personalized to you. It's completely free and easy to sign up for a Credit Karma account with no effect on your credit score. On Credit Karma, you can check out multiple loan offers side by side, and members who compare loan offers on Credit Karma save an average of 30% on interest rates.
Once you get your loan, Credit Karma can help you track your progress as you pay off your debt, and will even let you know if you can refinance and save. Ready to apply? Head to creditkarma.com/loan offers to see personalized offers with your approval odds right now. Go to creditkarma.com/loan offers to find the loan for you. That's creditkarma.com/loan offers. So anyways, we're just sort of getting into everything. Let's just get into it. And we'll sort of go back and forth on this promo here.
Sure.
So
do you want to be Phil, or do you want me to be Phil?
I think I'm the bigger Phil fan.
Yeah, okay, I'll be MJF.
So I could be Phil, you could be MJF.
All right, that way we get some order to it. So it's supposed to be Punk versus QT. Punk comes out first. He's got the tights on, not shorts, not pants. He's got the tights. As soon as he hits the ring, before QT even makes his entrance, MJF comes out. He gets the ring and he tells Punk, you know, it doesn't feel good getting interrupted, does it? He says, quite frankly, Punk, you hurt my feelings last week. I extended my hand like a gentleman, and it was almost as bad when you quit and went home like a little bitch. And he says, you know what's great? The pipe bomb. Everybody loves it. The pipe bomb was Punk's best moment. The only problem is MJF's every MJF moment is the best MJF moment. And unlike Punk, I'm not a one-trick pony. See, I respect everything you've done, Punk, even that Punk straight edge. But never did imagine that a straight edge man would look like a meth addict. Again, low hanging fruit. This is all this.
Oh, and it's corny. Yeah.
It is. It's not good. And when this first happened, I'm like, is this really how they're going to go about things?
I know, right? Yeah, it was a great way to sort of bait us in, though.
Yeah, he says, but you know what? I can't respect how you handled our situation. And he says Punk would do interviews. And he named every wrestler on the sun except for MJF. And he says the reality is Punk doesn't want none of MJF. Punk's whole career, he's been big fish, small pond. But Punk, here you're just a minnow. MJF says, I'm going to verbally finish you faster than your UFC career. And he says, he looks at his watch, or tells him, look at his watch, because if he retorts, You know, Punk can drop all the pipe bombs he wants, but MJF, he says he drops nukes.
Yeah. Just a quick pause here before I get into Punk's bit. Punk is kind of a difficult guy to poke holes at. That's why I really loved, I wish they gave Kingston Punk 20 minutes of a show. And I know they saved the big 20-minute promo for these guys because it's what everybody wants to see. But Eddie being able to poke actual holes at Punk because he knew him back when he was a raging dick. and that's what made that Eddie stuff so damn good, because he was the guy who could give Phil cry face.
See, like, this is all stuff like in kayfabe hurts.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But the stuff that Eddie was saying, you're like, oh.
Ooh, right?
That could hurt.
Like Punk's UFC career, I'm sure Punk doesn't really care. He wasn't in it to get wins. He was in it for the experience. I'm sure Punk really appreciates the fact, because he's got that nerd thing going like I do. He writes comic books. He's been in B movies. That's a badge of honor for that type. That's not going to hurt a guy.
No.
So Punk gets on the mic and I'm so disappointed in you. He says, but first off, I want to say thanks. You introduced yourself last week. You put your hand out, he says, but here's the thing. I didn't even know that your name was Maxwell. I thought MJF stood for my jealous fan. He said, if you're so hung up, and it's funny because there's like, he didn't directly reference it, but there's like that picture floating around of MJF as a kid with CM Punk. He says, if you're so hung up on the fact that I never brought up your name, it's because I didn't want to feed your ego. He said, I'm in your head because my poster is on your wall. Last week, I did what no one else could do. I shut up the great MJF without saying a single word. And you had 7 days to think of zingers, and all you did was reached out for the lowest hanging fruit. You think you're revolutionary? You're just a less famous Miz.
And the crowd gasp, and they start chanting, I think, less famous Miz, and MJF's like, all right, settle down. All right, he says, yeah, that was solid. Really creative stuff. It was almost what I wanted. That phrase kind of encapsulates Punk, your entire AEW run. I guess it's true. Nostalgia is a drug that causes us to misconstrue our memories. Punk is no more than nostalgia. MJF says, yeah, I was a fan. In the ring, on the mic, you were the best. Or so I thought, because ever since Punk has returned, he struggled to beat his competition and say anything of intrigue. And he goes up closer to Punk and says, Punk, your mouth smells like shit. Probably because you've been kissing ass all over the place. And he offers up his Punk impression, which is kind of poking fun of Punk's happy to be here promos that he's been doing on a fairly regular basis. And then he says, you've gone soft, your hair is going gray, and based on your eyes, if anyone here needs to go to sleep, it's you. This is no longer CM Punk, this is PG Punk. What happened to the renegade, the ass kicker? You might as well be coming out here preaching hustle, loyalty, and respect.
And the crowd ate that one up.
Yeah. Except here's the problem. I can see you, I can see through you. You claim to come back for younger stars, but also for a boatload of money. And then I missed this one bit, but something like...
He said you claimed you could change wrestling. He said you claimed you couldn't change wrestling from your couch, but you sat on that couch for 7 years.
There we go. He says excuse after excuse to not come back. You were too busy doing comics no one read and movies no one saw. Or was it that you were terrified, scared you couldn't hang anymore? Maybe that you couldn't hang in the first place. And I'm here to tell you that you should be scared. In the other company, people looked at you like a cult hero because he was held down. But now that you're here with the opportunity to prove these people right, will you? Can you? Will the fans feel that way in a month, in a year? It says, you envy me because I represent everything about this business you hate. He says, while you were scrawny, tatted up nitwit from Chicago, and he says, I know what keeps Punk up at night is that after all this hard work, Punk knows that his whole career has been nothing more than second best. Whether it was Cena or the King of Kings, Punk was never up to snuff. And he says, I can assure you that in his ring, his company, you're not going to be. And then MJF says, I'm better than you, and you know it.
And Punk goes on and he says, there's some, because that was when MJF really brought the best that he could at this point. And he says, there's some truth to what you said. He said, yeah, I was scared coming back after 7 years. I won't lie. And I'd never lie to them about that. He says, I didn't even know if they would remember me, if they'd still care, if I still had it. He said, but I'm not scared anymore. And I'm certainly not scared of you. He says, the timing might not match up, but I was selling out Madison Square Garden when you were marking out for Rosie O'Donnell. Last time you were here, you did a song and dance. You made the New York Times. Wow. You want to sing for me, Maxwell? I'm going to enroll you in a college your parents can't afford. I can back my words up. You can't do shit without backup. I chose Darby and I beat him and I didn't need a ring to do it. You're busy talking about the 4 pillars. You don't even know you've been replaced by Britt Baker. That was a killer line right there.
There's another line he had earlier on around the New York Times bit where he says, I'm going to put you in the New York Times again, but this time it's going to be in the obituaries.
Yeah, that was a good one. He says, I don't want to waste any more of these people's time. They call Chicago the second city because when it burned to the ground, he says they don't call it the second city because it's second best. It's second because when it burned to the ground, we built it back on the smoldering embers. He said, who's the man around here? You? The only way you'll be number one is if we wait around for Tony to have a daughter and you marry her. Woo. The only thing better, he says, last time I was here, I brought as a gift to the fans ice cream bars, but I can think of a better gift now, and that's if I punch you in your little needle dick right now. Yeah, that was good stuff. And then they both square up, and then of course MJF just ducks out.
He leaves. He leaves. Yeah. Then we go to commercial. We come back, and the match actually happens between QT and Punk. Early on, Nick Camarado grabs Punk's ankles. Ref sees it. Ref tosses the factory from ringside, and that's when QT actually gets the upper hand in the match.
I like this because, like, right before that happened, JR just randomly said, "There's Camarado. He sure is an ugly man." It's like, what the fuck, JR? That's so rude.
That's awfully rude.
Why would you
JR?
say something like that to a guy?
That is awfully rude.
You know, the guy's got a mom.
So yeah, QT is in control a good portion of this match. He hits a Liger bomb, gets a 2, and then he starts talking trash. And had QT not talked trash, maybe he could have, come out of this match with a win. Instead, Punk kicks QT in the head, mounts a comeback, hits a leg lariat, neck breaker, running knee, a clothesline, top rope elbow, and a GTS to get the win.
Yep. After that, we have a Jurassic Friends interview. Christian says, we've got momentum. Our confidence makes us feel like we're unbeatable. And when you feel this way, good things happen. Like I just found out today that Jurassic Express are #1 ranked for the tag team titles. And guys, I know you've been here before, but this time you've got momentum, confidence, and Christian, I'm going to make sure you guys win those tag titles.
I love this because somebody's turning on somebody. And it's going to be great.
At this point, I'll believe what I thought it was going to happen at the last thing. And instead, Christian got Jungle Boy to kill him, man. It was awesome.
I'm not saying it's going to happen soon, but they're setting all the groundwork for a turn, and it's great. Like, Christian here is, like, way overconfident. He's taking credit for shit, kind of,
Yeah, but they seem to be totally in on it. I mean, they're happy about this shit.
There's been moments where Jungle Boy has given Christian looks, though. So
yeah, but man, I think he's all on board right now.
Right now, that's going to change. That's going to change. After that, we had this great bit. Eddie's in catering. Camera comes up to him. He's just trying to eat his cake. He's like, "All right, you want me to talk? Fine."
This was. I love it. He was like, "Hey, shout out to Mox. I hope you're doing good." And then 2.0 and Daniel Garcia comes. He's like, "Oh, come on, God."
Yeah,
he's just trying to eat his
wants
cake.
To eat his cake, and people are bugging him, and so he
has cake and coffee.
Yeah, so Matt Lee comes up and says, "Hey, we apologize. We read your article, the Players Tribune. It touched us. But here's the thing. I read that, and I read about someone who's satisfied. You're not hungry anymore." And
Eddie looks down at his cake.
I know.
He's like, well.
I want to eat my cake. And he says, that's the kiss of death for a fighter. And then Parker says, we want to help you because you couldn't help your friend Mox. Woo! And so Eddie gets up. It's like, what did you say? And then Daniel Garcia tosses coffee in Eddie's face, and Eddie has to be held back while they leave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was great. I mean, dude, this is like 2 minutes. Eddie Kingston truly is like my favorite thing. He is fantastic. Great.
Absolutely fantastic.
After that, we had Gun Club and their spa music versus Bear Country. I mean, look, dude, 58 years old. 58, and the dude looks like that. It's insane.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gun Club get the win here. I'm not sure how much of Austin Gunn's screeching had to do with that. I like you texted me about that. I wish that guy would shut up.
Well, he was a big. He was loud.
It's too much.
It was too much.
I didn't even realize it was him. I was like watching. I was like, what is that noise?
No,
and I didn't bother to like look.
I guess now they're heels, so now he has to be extra irritating. I guess is maybe the idea. I haven't seen their matches on Darker Elevation. Anyways, yeah,
this next bit was fucking amazing. So after the match, Sting's music hits, he comes down, or he just goes to the stage, right? And he's just sort of smiling, and Gun Club's all flexing on him. So Austin decides to go and battle the Stinger, man called Sting. So he starts running at him, and Darby Allin, it's literally as if somebody shot this guy out of a cannon. He launches himself full on. I was legit worried about Austin because he got murdered with this cannonball Darby coming out of nowhere. Yeah.
I mean, Austin, I think, did knock himself out with a Luthez press on the floor. I think he would be fine after this.
I think he's kind of used to it at this point. Man, Darby annihilated this guy, dude. They played it again. I need to gift this shit because, oh my God.
It's so good. At a full sprint. He does like a diving shoulder tackle.
Darby is so fast, and he's so mobile. And he's like a projectile weapon. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Shocking. It was pretty shocking. So anyway, Sting and Darby go to the ring. Billy and Colton take off. They don't want any of Sting and Darby. That match will happen. Gun Club's going to eat their first L. Then we got an ad for Battle of the Belts. January 8th. It's a special. It's on a Saturday. That should be pretty cool. I guess this is kind of maybe what they're going to do in the new year, kind of maybe in lieu of special Dynamites.
Clash of Champions, man.
Yeah.
Clash of Champions. That's what that shit used to be. Yeah, absolutely. Saturday and on cable.
Yeah, supercards, essentially. So they didn't give us a whole lot of information. Just in the promo image, they had all the champions. So you got to assume that all the titles are going to be on the line.
Seems that would make sense.
Then we had a Bob Fish and Adam Cole promo. Adam Cole saying how these past few weeks have sucked. They lost on the pay-per-view. There's this Friendsgiving thing tonight he's not happy about. Bob Fish adds the Young Bucks haven't even been cleared yet. And Cole says, yeah, I talk to them every day. We're more than partners. We're friends. No, we're family. And in walks best friends. And Chuck says, hey, we don't need to do a hand thing to show that we're friends.
He's like, what is this stuff? And he said, you guys walk right past us, and now you're talking about being best friends like we're not supposed to hear that?
Yeah.
And Cole says, no, we're the best. They're just arguing over who's the best friends, and that cracks me the hell up. And yeah, Chuck, he does he tries to do the hand sign, and then Fish is like, okay, well, if you're such best friends, what's Yuta's middle name?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I know. It's pretty
Nobody
funny.
knows Yuta's middle name.
It's pretty funny, I know. And I like that Adam Cole's like, look at you, Orange Cassidy. I bet you're a bad friend.
I bet this honestly played more like being the elite segment with Adam Cole.
It did.
I bet you're a horrible friend.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah, this was awesome. So yeah, we're going to get that at some point, I guess.
I think it's on Rampage.
Oh, is that Rampage?
I think they signed it for Rampage.
That's awesome. Cole just looks like he's having so much fun.
Heck yeah.
If Kyle O'Reilly shows, oh my God. Oh, that'll be good. After that, we've got, so many segments. That could be my segment of the night. Like at this point, Punk MJF is like third because I got Eddie first. So you cut into the most contentious. This was like if George Costanza was running a contract signing, because we just go into it and Taz is yelling at, come on, Dante, sign the contract, Dante, sign the contract.
And then he's like, Leo's there, of course. And he's like, Leo, why are you here? Why do you have a copy of the contract in your hand? And Leo just says, well, if anything involves Dante, I'm going to be here. And Taz's like, oh, it's just business. You don't have to I can't remember the exact terminology he used, but it's like, you don't have to be like so cruel about it. Like he was on the defensive immediately.
Yeah. Hey, whoa, watch what you're saying. It's just business. It's not personal. And so he's like, and so Leo's like, he starts taking the pen away from Dante, and he's like, you know what, this deal doesn't work for us. And Dante grabs the pen from him, and shockingly, he just signs the damn thing. And Leo's like, what the fuck? And then Hook offers up his barbecue lays.
That's what it looked to be.
And Dante took it, looked at Leo, walked over the table out of the room along with Team Taz. So they have the hottest prospect right now. I am so happy about this. I don't know. Do you think this is going to be some sort of LBO Leo Dante swerve situation? Or I saw, God, I wish I knew who this was on Twitter. Somebody on Twitter said something along the lines of, wouldn't it be great if the story is that Dante's just loyal to nobody, like Leo, his brother, Seidel, everybody?
Maybe it's a situation where he's loyal to nobody but his brother, you know?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
This is all just a story leading up to his brother's return, and then they'll get a massive push as a tag team. After that, man, this match was fantastic. We mentioned it in our intro.
Oh, yeah.
Jamie Hayter versus Thunder Rosa, TBS Championship title tournament bout. So before we get into it, Britt had a picture-in-picture promo. She's talking about how she's very thankful that soon she won't be the only champion in Team DMD. It says Jamie's going to beat Thunder and be on her way to winning championship gold. Jamie Hayter and Thunder Rosa this was stiff. It was physical. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
In the end, though, Britt wasn't correct about Hayter being on her path to championship gold because she didn't win this. So at one point, Rebel gets on the apron. Britt sneaks in while Thunder Rosa's got a submission hold on Jamie Hayter. And then so Britt pulls Thunder Rosa off Jamie Hayter. So Jamie's out of the hold. She looks to super kick Thunder Rosa. Instead, Thunder Rosa moves. So Britt accidentally kicks Jamie Hayter. And then Thunder Rosa pushes Britt into Rebel, knocking her off the apron. And then Thunder Rosa rolls up Jamie Hayter to get the win. And afterwards, Britt is trying to talk to to Hayter, and Hayter's pissed. She just pushes Britt back and rolls out of the ring. So we could see some a split there potentially in Team DMD.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Jay Shell of bodyslam.net. That's who I stole that Dante Martin little bit about. Gotcha. I really like that idea. Yeah, I like the little discord there between Hayter and Britt. The look on Britt's face after she got shoved was like, okay, you work for me, so I'm going to allow that one, but we'll see how far that goes because she totally fucked up.
Yeah, hell of a match.
After that, Jericho is about to have an interview with Marvez, and almost immediately he's asked what's next for him, and almost immediately 2.0 and Daniel Garcia walk through, and they're all laughing about throwing coffee in Kingston's face, and Jericho's like, hey, instead of laughing that off, you need to be going to the hardware store and getting some wood and some nails to protect your place because Kingston's going to show up at your house tomorrow and come for you. And Matt Lee's about to say something. And he's like, your head is so square. Look at his head, everybody. It's a very square head. And so he's going on and on about that, the way Jericho does. And then he says, if you ever interrupt me again, I'll knock your teeth down your throat.
Yeah. And then I like that at the end, Parker's like, with all due respect, watch your mouth. Then they leave. But he has to get the last word in. I like that. Then we get the Friendsgiving segment with Britt, Rebel, and Tony Schiavone. Britt is talking about how horrible this has all started because Thunder Rosa won. And she says if Thunder Rosa wins the TBS title, that title is doomed.
Yeah.
And she says, but there's something that's still very, very right. She's still champ. And Tony says, hey, you're great friends, Rebel, Britt, I love you both. I do have some bad news for you. He throws some footage. He says, Riho was never eliminated from the Casino Battle Royal at All Out. So she'll have a match this Friday against Britt Baker. And if Riho wins, she gets a title shot. And then Britt is upset. She says, Tony, you ruined Halloween. Now you ruined Thanksgiving. You're not getting invited to the Christmas party. She looks at her glass of wine. She says, who put ice in the red wine? I'm guessing it was you, Tony.
He didn't deny it. Yeah, Tony needs to stop being the messenger because he's getting uninvited to things now.
Yeah, and also don't put ice in red wine.
It's like, you know what, dude? She's your friend. Well, yeah, you don't do that.
No, you're supposed to serve red wine at room temperature or slightly below. Just slightly.
So you don't do you just stop being the messenger. Like you certainly don't show up at your friendsgiving thing. Turn on the TV and say, look, now you have a match because of that with a former champion.
Yeah.
That's just not being a great friend. That's in the words of Adam Cole, a horrible friend. I mean, if I invited you over to my house when we were hanging out and you're like, hey, Steve, check this out. You're being audited by the IRS. You're bumming me out right now. Like we're supposed to be having a good time. I don't want to know that right now.
I kind of feel like that might be something I would do, though.
I know. After that, we had Bryan Danielson versus Chicago's own Colt Cabana. I like Colt trying to intimidate Bryan with some earthquakes.
Oh, yeah, some pec flexing.
Yeah. Bryan was not about it. He was like, he just stone-faced the whole time. He's scary. He's scary when he's stone-faced, dude. So there was quite a bit of back and forth here. Bryan missing a drop kick to the corner. Colt getting some chops in. He gets Colt got all of his shit in. He got the punches and the elbow, the dusty stuff. Bryan turns around with a German, hits that corner drop kick, some kicks, some strikes. Colt hits a moonsault, elbow strikes. Brian gets him some Danielson stomps, and then right before he puts him in the label lock, he gives that flex, and then he holds the lock after the bell. He colts out. He just holds it. He looks at the ref, just doesn't even pay attention to him.
Stone face.
Yeah.
I love
and then
it.
he notices a piece of tooth, and he picks it up. He gets in the corner. He starts showing off the piece of tooth.
Yeah.
And afterwards, he's got an interview with Tony Schiavone.
This is so good. He says, it's funny, when I debuted in Chicago, it got a much different reaction. And I wonder if it's him or if it's the fans. You know, there's one word that describes that, and that's fickle. He says, I'm not fickle. I came out and said I was going to kick Colt's head in. Not only did I do that, I kicked his teeth out. He says, we're in Atlanta next week. There's a couple members of the Dark Order who are from Atlanta. So if either of them or any of them want to get their head kicked in, step up. But it all leads to the final head kicking, and that's Adam Page, and this brings Adam Page out.
Yeah, and he says, I get it, Daniel. I get it, Brian. You made your point, but that's the last time. Because, oh, man. He says, because we're in Chicago, and this city, this building is special to me, and I can't think of a better place and time to defend this belt than here and now. And Brian says, oh, of course you would say that after I wrestle a match. To me, I love when he says that. To me, or to be fair, that's not cowboy shit. That's coward shit. And Hangman says, well, if you don't want to do it now, that's fine. But to be honest, I'm not leaving without a fight. He says, but I'll do this. I'll make it fair and give you the first shot. Come on. And Brian says, don't insult me like that. And then he takes the shot. What a hypocrite. I love it.
So good.
Don't insult me like that. Whap.
It's so good. It's so good. So they brawl, and then Hangman's looking for a buckshot. Instead, Danielson evades, gets out of the ring. He leaves.
Hey, that look on his face, man, like he just dodged a car coming his way. That was good stuff. That, like he looked, oh shit, that was going to be bad.
Yeah.
After that, we had that Ruby Soho Chris Statlander video package. I want to call it Ruby Riot.
They've really been building up this match. I feel like every week for about the last 4 weeks, they've run a video package for it. So
has this been the same one or has it been different?
I don't know if it's been the same one or if it's been different, but I appreciate the fact that even though this match hasn't happened in the course of 4 weeks, they continually keep it on your mind.
Yeah, no, I know. That's a really smart move. I'm really glad that they do that too. It's such a loaded show. And then we had our main event. I didn't notice because like when Malachi's entrance started, I left because I knew we were looking at like 5 to 7 minutes of entrances. Were there any promos in all this stuff?
I think Malachi's entrance started about 6:33 and the match started about 10 minutes later.
Yeah. And of course, the main event entrance, Cody comes out
to a chorus of boos.
And like I said, this match is basically just a vehicle for the crowd to shit on Cody. The great moment everybody's going to reference now. He takes off his belt. He does the thing where he whips it into the crowd violently. And then this great Chicago crowd, much like the Hammerstein and Cena, threw the belt back. Unfortunately, it did seem to clip Aubrey, but I thought it was worth it for the moment. Because Cody looked at it. And then it was great because Andrade gets in because it's just sitting in the ring. Andrade runs in, he grabs it, and he throws it violently under the ring. And the crowd eats that alive. And then Cody has one of the security guys grab the belt for him and puts it back on during the match.
And then later on in the match, he throws it back out into the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So after that Andrade bit, there's one point shortly thereafter that Cody tags himself in, and immediately the heel team takes control. And they're beating him. They're beating him down in their corner while the faces are all complaining the ref and distracting him. Yeah. So Malachi gets the tag in. Cody gets out of there immediately. There's a 1A at Malachi. So Phoenix is in. He goes on a run. He has to fend off FTR, but that allows Malachi to turn the tables. Eventually, Cash gets tagged in. He misses a 619. Phoenix hits him with a kick. Andrade and Penta are tagged in. Penta goes on a run, hits DDTs. Like at the same time on FTR, hits Andrade with a backstabber, gets a 2. Pac gets the tag in. Again, he goes on a run against FTR. Hits Malachi with a German suplex. Hits him and Andrade with a corkscrew tope. Puts Andrade back in the ring. But as Pac's about to do a springboard, get the top rope, Malachi grabs his ankle. Pac kicks him off. Hits Andrade with a bunch of strikes. Match breaks down. Cody takes out Malachi with a spinning suplex, and that's when he tosses the belt back out into the crowd. he's looking for a super kick on Andrade. Instead, Andrade evades that, so Cody kicks Pac. And then Andrade takes out Cody, charges Pac, and Pac just destroys him with the overhead belly-to-belly into the corner. So Arn and Tully get in the ring. They're about to square up maybe. Jose, Andrade's assistant, gets in too. And they, both Arn and Tully, deck him. FTR hits the ring. The two of them and Tully, they corner Arn. Phoenix comes to the rescue so Arn can escape. Penta takes out FTR, and then they both the Lucha Brothers hit, I think, high-flying moves on FTR to the floor. So Pac goes up top. Malachi misses him, and Andrade hits Pac with the hammerlock DDT for the win, while Malachi hits Cody with the Black Mass off the apron.
A great question here from Quote the Raven. And the great thing about it is that I can answer it. He says, are FTR no longer in the Pinnacle? They have actually explained on the show that they are basically mercenaries for Andrade, and they have taken this rivalry personally, so they're aligning with Andrade right now. And the great thing about that is that it is actually all explained in the episode, and that kind of stuff doesn't always happen in the wrestling world, where it's explained why there are alliances. I mean, there still hasn't been an explanation for Andrade and Malachi Black, but generally speaking, AEW does a great job of actually showing all the motivations, all of that stuff happen on screen, even if it's one small line, one shot, one promo, one video, whatever. In the ring, backstage, they will explain pretty much everything that's going on so that it always makes sense. Yeah, no, I mean, quote the Raven, it's easy to miss sometimes because they pack so much in their show. I'm not putting that on him. But you know, commentary generally does a good job of explaining it as well. They always endeavor to explain what they're doing. Yeah. And I love that about AEW.
Yeah, me too.
It's a universe that endeavors to make sense.
I feel like it's the universe where they set some ground rules for themselves, and by and large, they try to hold themselves to those ground rules.
Yep. Let's go ahead and answer some questions. Hopefully we have some highlighted messages because I just put this thread up and I only have 3 on the Patreon.
Oh, dear.
But we can start off with David Matuszek says, what kind of chips do you think Dante Martin could eat during each Team Taz segment if that particular running gag is followed up on? So do you think he'll just keep continually, like, Hook will offer it to him during a segment?
I hope so. I hope it's not just chips.
I think that's going to be.
I hope it's not just chips, but a variety of snacks. Get some jerky in there, maybe some peanut butter filled pretzels.
I'd like at one point him to take, because I know you're not a fan of what are those things called? They like pizza flavored ones.
Combos.
It's like combos.
Yeah, it tastes like dog food to me.
I like the idea that he would take one and try it and be like, he looks good with that. I want to see him give his opinion to Hook.
Yeah.
Just with a nod.
Just
or
10-second food reviews. Yeah.
Yeah, but just with a nod or a head shake.
Totally. Yeah. Thumbs up, maybe. Michael Sodope says, I love how AEW is rewarding us for sticking with them through lockdown while WWE just did the same old thing.
Yeah. Gregory Fiella says, do you think CM Punk is going to give anyone cry face after his promo with MJF tonight? Do I think he's going to give anyone else cry face? I don't know. Probably. He's a good promo, so I think that's a possibility.
I kind of like with Punk that it kind of feels like with his promos he's been holding back.
Yeah, sure.
And he was finally given opportunity here with MJF. A little bit with Eddie, but more so tonight with MJF to just unload on somebody. Beautiful Crow says, for Malachi and Andrade, they explained they had a mutual connection. Oh, Zelina.
Yeah, I saw Tony Khan had explained that in like a podcast. That is one of the few times that it wasn't explained on screen, though. And that's what I prefer, because here's the thing: she's not exactly canon to the universe of AEW. So I will say this: AEW has been very good about making the entire world of wrestling canon for their promotion. Yeah, no, I know, I get it. I mean, I guess you know, there are certain things that you can just sort of make the connection yourself, I suppose. But you know, Malachi is such a over the top sort of supernatural type guy that for those, and he's a very detail oriented, storyteller.
Seems that way, yes.
I think a little bit of explanation would be cool beyond he's friends with my wife.
Yeah, no, I get that.
We've had office parties together.
Jeffrey asks, how do I know what dog food tastes like? I don't know what dog food tastes like, but I know what it smells like. In combos, when you know something of the smell of something, you kind of imagine the taste.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about combos and dog food. Like I taste combos and I'm like, this is what I imagine dog food tastes like.
That's weird. Because like combos doesn't.
Because they kind of look like dog treats.
They look like dog treats.
Maybe that's part of it.
I'll give you that much. They do look like them.
So that just leads my mind to think, oh, they must taste like dog treats then.
Do you have like one of those brain things that like you like your senses get mixed up with each other? Like you see something looks like dog food and you think that that's what it tastes like? Like if there was like I don't know, like if I cut like a piece of pizza in the shape of like a milk bone, would you be like, oh, that tastes like dog food? Because you see it looks like
no, but I also see at the same time that it's obviously a piece of pizza you cut into the shape of a bone to be like, why does Steve waste 5 minutes or maybe 10 cutting that piece of pizza in the shape of a bone to try to trick me?
Trying to trick
I'm giving you credit that you'll care about your craftsmanship when cutting that bone into a pizza.
It's like Squid Game. No, I read about that once. There's like people who are like, they can taste the color purple, I don't think it's just grape. I think it's like they look at it and they can taste it.
No, I hear you. I mean, I'm a very visual person. Like I'm a visual learner,
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised in the case of the combos. I see it looks like a dog treat. I assume it tastes like dog treat. I've had combos before. And I think maybe the perception that it looks identical, virtually identical. But you've had
them before. Does the taste smell like dog food? Because I don't think it does.
I don't think they taste very good. That's just my point of view.
You just don't like they're very drying. Like you put them in your mouth and you crunch on them, and
they sap all the moisture out 1,000%.
It's like that suit and Dune. Let's see here. Oh man, there was a good question here.
These combos are making me thirsty.
These combos are making me very thirsty. Dang MQ says, what a stupid conversation. He says, not AEW. But did you hear how Xavier Woods would react if he was released by WWE?
Yeah.
He says, okay, what's the context? I didn't hear this.
I just saw the quote. I didn't hear the whole thing or see the whole thing.
Do we know, was it on G4 or something?
I don't remember.
He would say, okay, deuces, it's been a fun ride. Yeah, he'd be fine.
Yeah, he would be fine.
He'd be totally fine. At this point, he's probably over that shit.
Could be. Jorge D says, Tony Khan is getting tired of trying to figure out how to book Brian Cage, so he leaves up to you guys. What would you do with Brian Cage that would make everyone happy? You put him in a tag team. You put him with someone like Lance Archer, or you put him with Lance Archer. And they go and they destroy people. You have Archer and you have Jake do the talking. He doesn't worry about talking. He has to worry about two things. Looking mean and beat people up.
Yeah.
That's all he has to do.
I got it. You get him with Archer, except instead of Jake moves on to like Miro or something else. Miro doesn't need Jake, but he moves on to something else. You bring in Melissa Santos, and she is the host of their tag team, Eliminate. And they go around and they find out if they get eliminated by people, they bring back the old Archer show thing. That would be great. I want to see Brian Cage on Eliminate.
Something catering exclusively to Steve.
What's wrong with that? AEW's already done that. They literally brought the Undisputed Era. It's funny. I was thinking about that conversation we had the other day.
Yeah.
They've brought, dude, they are bringing Kyle O'Reilly in the
original.
It'll
be three-quarters.
Two-thirds of the original Undisputed Era.
In there, yeah. Well, they bring Kyle, it'll be
and
all
if they
the
bring
original.
Kyle, it'll be the entire original Undisputed Era. They brought Aleister Black, Andrade, the favorites of Steve. Tell me,
Phil. They brought in Phil. Oh, I know.
They brought in Phil.
I know.
Right? It's literally a Steve W.
Flats. Any bold winner is coming predictions? Last year we got new tag champ, Impact partnership, and Sting. Maybe Okada will show up. That'd be cool.
You know, last year they totally catered to you though, because I was thinking about that. I was looking at our old videos.
Oh, they brought
And,
Miro in. I know.
Well, 2 weeks before winter is coming, no, 2 weeks before Kenta debuted, we had our predictions episode.
Yeah.
And you had predicted that they were going to do an AEW New Japan thing.
Yeah.
So immediately they were like, oh, that's what Larson wants? Done.
Check.
And then they were like, this isn't really getting us anywhere. Maybe we should cater to Steve. I think that'll probably work better. And then boom, look, now they're like beating Raw on the ratings every week.
Well, that's not exactly true. No, not true at all.
Anyways, let's see here. Lord Neroku asks, who do you think will take the TNT title off of
Miro.
Samuel?
Let it be Miro.
It should be Miro. It should totally be Miro.
1000% be Miro.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we didn't actually. Any bold winter is coming predictions? Winter Wonder Slam?
It's hard. I mean, I don't know if they're going to do. I don't know when they're going to do Page and Danielson. They could do it there. They could do the first TBS show. They could do Battle of the Belts. I mean, there's 3 potential shows they could do that match on. I mean, nonetheless, I would be surprised if Danielson won, but I don't think that's outside the realm of possibility.
I mean, given that Battle of the Belts, like Page has a guarantee, like he's going to be
defending the title.
Defending the title, you'd think that'd be the place it was going to happen.
You'd think so. You would think so.
Maybe Punk MJF is going to be at the first TBS show.
Oh, could be. They
could do that.
White Brownie, how do you guys think a Cena MJF promo battle would play out? Cena would probably give him cry face.
Yeah, Cena's really good at giving people cry face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cena has that shit-eating grin that just like nobody can beat. Like Cena legitimately doesn't have to say it for you to know that he is better than you. you know,
and you know it.
It's like, yeah, you know it. You totally know it.
Yeah. Hugh Longheavy says, if Cody was the first person to best Punk, would it need to be in Chicago for there to be a riot? I don't think it would need to be, but if you want a very vocal and very angry crowd response, you do it in Chicago.
Mm-hmm, yeah. GB Grizz says, do we not think Battle of the Belts will be champion versus champion? I just don't know who the... I guess you
Paige versus Sammy?
Paige versus Sammy, Britt versus the TBS title holder, and Lucha Brothers versus FTR again with the mega title. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a possibility. But I mean, here's the thing: Battle of the Belts is like Night of Champions. Night of Champions wasn't title versus title. It's not brand versus brand.
Just titles are on the line.
I think it's just the titles are going to be on the line.
Yeah.
Texacan asks, who is Malachi Black going to recruit for the House of Black? He says he'd say Bear Country and Abaddon. I would hope that he would get Brody King.
Mm-hmm.
That makes too much sense.
Yep,
and with AEW, if it makes too much sense, they generally try to do it.
Yeah, they're the PWG tag champions currently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Dang MQ says, should Battle of the Belts also include New Japan titles? I mean, you've got, at that point, you're going to have, 2, 3, 4, you're going to have 5 titles, including the TBS one.
And also, the night of Battle of the Belts, the same night as Night 3 of Wrestle Kingdom. It's January 8th.
Ah, yeah, there you go.
So that kind of precludes that from
happening, yeah, probably. I mean, if you have 5 titles, 5 matches, it's probably only going to be like a 2-hour show.
I imagine it's a 2-hour special, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
FF Samps asks, have either of you ever been to a wrestling show by yourself? I could go to AEW next week, but I would be by myself, and was wondering your thoughts. Steve has.
Part of me thinks sometimes it's better to go by yourself. I don't know. I mean, you're amongst wrestling fans. I did. Hilton had won a single front row $100 ticket to a WWE house show here in town years ago. I went. It was an absolute blast. But then I've also gone to movies by myself. I generally enjoy being by myself.
Yeah.
Lou says, fuck off. Wrestle Kingdom's on my birthday. Oh, my God. They did that just for her, you know.
Yeah.
They were like, when is Lou's birthday? The 8th? Oh, we got to have a third night then.
A special night. A very special night, no less. New Japan versus Pro Wrestling Noah. They're like, but only because it's Lou's birthday. Indeed.
It's true. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Twitch chat, stick around. We'll answer some more of your questions, and then we'll raid somebody.
Indeed.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.